It's been right a year now since we've installed our two EUFY security cameras on our RV property to help be our eyes while we're here and while we're away for the winter. So I thought it was about time to share our thoughts on the system with you. Let me say right now that we are not affiliated with EUFY in any way, fashion, or form. They don't know we're doing this video. They're not sponsoring this video at all. We bought this unit with our own hard-earned money from Amazon, and we actually won the other unit around the corner that you'll see in just a second. But what we will do, if you enjoy anything on this video, if you find it helpful and you want one of these units, I will put a couple links down below in the description that if you click on those, it will take you to our Amazon store. And if you make a purchase from there, we do get a small kickback. But again, we're not affiliated with EUFY at all. So for the entirety of this video, we're going to refer to this camera here as camera number 1. Now this is a model number S330, and this is a 4K unit, and the reason we wanted this one is that you can run this off of a Wi-Fi on your property, or you can run this through a cell phone data card that goes inside that unit right there. And we thought we would use that with the data card while we're away, because when we leave, we take our data with us, and when we're here, we can use the modem system we have on board our coach. We didn't do it that way, and we'll show you what we are doing. But so we're going to refer to this camera here as camera number 1. And as you can see, this is solely powered by solar. And then from camera number 1, which really takes care of this front section, you'll see some clips on that coming up here real quick. It takes care of this front section and monitors our front patio for our RV while we're here. All right, let's go back here and find camera number 2. And it's around the back side of our casita here, so it helps monitor all this area here, and our side door, and our shed back there while we're gone, and the parking while we're here, and also down toward our well pump and such, and driveways. So, and here it is. This one is our second one. Now, we happened to win this one in a drawing, so imagine that. So we didn't buy this one, but we did win, and it wasn't given to us by anybody as far as for review or whatever. Now, this model number is the S340. And we will refer to this camera as camera number 2 through the rest of this video. Now this one is not set up to run through a data card at all. This one runs solely through a Wi-Fi setup, which works for us now, and I'll tell you why. And as you can see, it does have a small solar panel on top of that. If you'll notice, before, camera number 1 had a solar panel that you could really run with a wire and put it in a spot that might be best for it. This one is mounted to the camera itself, so it was a little bit more iffy on getting good solar. But from where we are, and we'll show you what we have. We have trees. We're in the shade right now, but we have some pretty good sky here, and there's plenty of solar, even during the winter, to keep this thing charged all the time. And we'll share some of that information with you. As I mentioned earlier, we had planned to use camera number 1 on our Wi-Fi system while we're here. Then when we leave for the winter, we take our fifth wheel with us, of course, and then with that goes our Wi-Fi on the property. And then we were going to use a data card on camera number 1 to help monitor our property. So then camera number 2 wouldn't be able to be used because we had no data here for it to pick up on. And then the plot thickens, and we went ahead and put a mini split system in our casita, and our mini split system happens to have a Wi-Fi accessory to where we can hook up to it anywhere in the country, and we can monitor and run our mini split. So when we did that, we thought, well, what can we do to add Wi-Fi on our property while we're gone? And I'll show you what we did there real quick and what's been working for us. Let's just go inside our casita, and I'll show you what we decided to do because of camera number 2's situation and because of our mini split up there. And it's really as simple as this. Here it is. Years ago, we used this Verizon hotspot as our data source while we were full-time and around the country. And it's just been sitting in a drawer deactivated for, quite some time. So we went ahead and went into Verizon. We got a real inexpensive plan with low data. I think it maybe has, I don't know what it has, 2 gigs of data or something like that per month, and we don't care. We plugged it in here. We did plug it into a timer. We didn't want to leave it plugged into the power source all the time. We was worried about the battery swelling. We've had that happen before. So we plugged it into this timer, and it kind of rotates through, lets the battery cycle, get lower, charge back up. And if the power ever goes out in the wintertime or even during the summer, this, of course, will stay in good shape, and we'll just carry on. So that's been working really good for us. Now I want to share some clips with you that we got off these cameras. Most of these are from while we were down in Arizona for the winter and the property was sitting here barren. These are things that we picked up as activities, and I'll show you what it looked like. All right, so we hired a guy to come over to our property and do a little bit of work while we were still down in Arizona. You can see here that camera number 2 picked him up backing into the site behind the casita. He finished up his little task. We didn't share the work with you, but now you see him leaving from camera number 2. And here in just a second, you'll see that number 1 will pick him up. Hang on, there he goes. Now there's camera number 1 picked him up, and camera number 1 is going to track him over to where he's going to park. And then he has some more work to do, but we won't share that with you, and you probably don't care about it. All right, so while we had our casita being converted from a single-car garage to a casita, our insurance was under a building type policy, and now that it passed all the inspections from the county and is now a dwelling, now the insurance company hired this fella to come out and take a look at the property. So you saw that camera number 1 picked him up walking up. He walked around the side of the casita, and now number 2 has picked him up. And he's going to do a little bit of riding right here. Then he's going to walk around to the side of the casita. And then we're going to check out here if camera number 1 does its job. And here we go. It is panning around. I'm going to pick him up next to the casita. And then it will follow him as he wanders down the front of the casita. So it did, in fact, do its job. All right, here you see one of our friendly deer coming through. In fact, there's a deer right there by our patio. If you look up above it, you'll see another deer out in the trees. So I will admit that about 98% of the notices that we got from these cameras throughout the winter were ones just like this, some type of critter. And that's fine with us. We like that kind of thing. And in fact, if you look real close, you'll notice that there are actually 3 deer out there walking through the property. They love to get the nuts out of the oak tree right above them there. All right, so this is a separate day. Actually, this is shot in March, so March 9th of 2025 at 8:36 in the morning. And now you see 4 deer coming through for probably a little snack out there. They love that area out there to get snacks. So once again, just another critter call. All right, look real quick. See that rabbit headed out to the right-hand side of that picture? Now, that was at 2:08 in the morning on March 1st. The only thing I didn't like about that is that the camera number 2 did not follow the rabbit off the screen. Now, hang on here just a second. It's going to come back through. Going to head back down to the left. Here it comes. And there it goes. It tripped off our security light again, and away it goes down the driveway. And then here's another shot for a friendly critter. Look at that. Pepe Le Pew stopped in for a visit. That was at 11:15 p.m. on March 13th. Yeah, keep on going, Pepe. Keep on going. We've seen that skunk around here a few times since we got back to the property as well. That's okay. They were here first. And here we go. This is a nighttime shot of a visit from a friendly deer. So this was on February 16th at 9:37 p.m. And he's just going to hang around out there and grab a snack again. Getting the acorns dropped out of the oak tree right there above it. They love that spot. Now you saw that we had camera number 1 mounted up underneath the eave of our casita. And every once in a while, not very often, but a few times, when it was really misty outside, not a hard rain, but a mist, and a little bit of breeze was going around, it would make that mist swirl in front of the camera, and we would get what I'll call a false reading. And all it was is the moisture running around in front of the camera, and it picked up on it. So not a big deal, but every once in a while it would do that. Now I'm pretty sure if I went in and messed with the sensitivity, it might have taken care of this, but it didn't happen very often, and I'd rather have it pick it up than have it miss something altogether. So we didn't mess with changing any settings. And then this is just another clip of showing you what I call a false reading. Again, just the light mist swirling around in front of the camera being picked up by it. So again, didn't bother me too much, but it does happen So I thought I'd share it with you. Now, we never had this happen with camera number 2. Maybe because it's not mounted underneath an eave as much as this one is, I don't know. But it never happened, not even once, with camera number 2. So maybe it's a characteristic of camera number 1 over camera number 2. I couldn't tell you, but I just wanted to share it with you. Now check it out. That's a bat you see swooping in toward the camera there. Over and over again, that bat flies over getting its food. So the bugs must have been drawn to the camera for some reason. That's pretty cool. That's good. Now I will admit there were a couple concerns I had when we first got these units. One of them was the long, gray, dreary stretches of weather we could have here in the Northwest and running solely off of these solar panels keeping the batteries charged. Now I have read that only 2 hours a day keeps the batteries charged with no problem, and the other reviews I've seen on these units never complained about having the batteries staying charged. And after some use, I will admit, my worries were unfounded and we never had any issues at all. Now on this unit number 1, the solar panel is detached from the head unit itself, the camera itself, and it has a stretch of wire that you can mount somewhere that maybe get you in a better spot for sunlight, and that's a plus. Now on camera number 2, the solar panel is attached to the camera, so that one had me a little bit more worried, and especially because it is mounted in the back of the casita where it gets less light anyway, I was concerned. Now let me say that camera number 1, I never saw it get lower than 80 or 90%. I mean, I checked it quite often, and it stayed fully charged pretty much the entire winter. Now, camera number 2, there was one time that it did get down to 40%. I was kind of worried a little bit, but then it slowly built back up, and it stayed around the 70, 80% all the time. And watching the weather here in the Northwest where we have this mounted at, it had a horrible winter. We had floods and all kinds of things going on that typically don't happen in this area. So they had a long, hard, wet winter with a lot of gray skies, and it held up pretty well. The other concern I had was simply losing connection between the cameras and us while we were down south for the winter. So camera number 1, we have that data card inside there. I think we bought 1 or 2 gigs of data to use in case that happened. But you know what? The system we have with our little hotspot inside the casita that I showed you never went down, never failed at all, so we stayed connected with both cameras, and once again, all my worries were for naught. So as far as picture quality, very happy with that. Now camera number 1's a 4K unit, but we keep the settings on that for streaming at 1 level below the 4K. And then for recording, we keep that set at 1080p. Now camera number 2, we set that at 720p, and that's 2 below the highest setting for recording and streaming both. And the reason we do that, remember I told you that we got down to 40% battery life on that at one time? That's about when we changed it to 720p. Because recording at a lower level does save on power, and it was still plenty good for what we needed to use it for. And there are a ton of settings on the app, and we love the ease of working with the app from afar. You can set things like your video settings, both recording and streaming, your audio settings, notification settings, motion detection, power management, night visions, color, black and white, all kinds of settings you can do on the app, and it's all very easy. And the panning, if you're just looking at the cameras, wanting to stream and take a look at what's going on around your property, the panning features are so smooth, it just works real well. In conclusion, we're very happy with both these cameras. We're not sorry we got these at all. I will also mention again that we are not sponsored by EUFY. They don't know we're doing this video. They did not send us anything for free. They did not tell us what to say. We bought these with our own hard-earned money. Well, except for camera number 2, we got lucky and won that in a drawing. But no complaints here at all. We would buy the same cameras over again if we needed to. Let me also say that if you happen to like what you see in this video and you care to pick up one of these EUFY cameras, I'm going to put a couple links down below in the description. If you click on that, it will take you to Amazon where you can make a purchase. You will not pay a penny more, but we will get a small kickback from Amazon. Not EUFY, we'll get a small kickback from Amazon. We're way too small of a channel for EUFY to pay any attention to, so buy them from Amazon. Besides, I don't know what kind of customer service EUFY would have if you have an issue as far as sending them back. I know on Amazon, if we have an issue, you let Amazon know, you ship them back, no problems at all. So anyway, that's my plug. Check the links out down below. All right, that's my take on the EUFY cameras. So if you enjoyed this video, got any information out of here at all that was helpful, how about a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.